Hello everyone, and today we are at Speen. I'm just walking away from Speen Church there. The people with power tools are strimming and mowing and whatnot, so there's quite a din in the background, so I hope this hasn't picked up on the recording. But today I am walking towards, and hopefully I'll find, first time I've been here, is the Lady Well in Speen. It's called a well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more of a spring than a well. And it certainly existed since Roman times. And in the 19th century, the wellhead was renovated. And it came to my attention. I was watching a YouTube channel called Auto Shenanigans, and John, the host of Auto Shenanigans, has been following a particular guidebook, and one of the routes to go on and places to see is the Lady Well. And what caught my attention when I was on YouTube, it appeared as if they were, or people had left, I don't know, some sort of votive offerings at the wellhead. And that, as I'm a little bit of a folklorist, that caught my attention. I thought, yes, I must visit the well. So where is it? Where is it? Okay, well I've just come to a bench. Okay. This seat is dedicated to the memory of Francis Curd, 1918 to 1995, who loved and cared for the Lady Well during the 1980s. The site is now maintained by Speen Parish Council. And the bench is to a right angle from the footpath which goes to and from the church. So it's perpendicular, and then from the bench you can see a little lane, no more than, I don't know, maybe 20 metres or thereabouts, and we've got the well, and it's kind of like a shrine with this big stone on the top of it. So you've sort of got this enclosed area on top of it. So it's sort of there's stonework surrounding the well itself, and the capstone, for want of a better word, seems to be it's circular. It's got these wavy lines around it. And what caught my eye, certainly on Auto Shenanigans, was not so much the ancient monument per se, but it was the fact that people had come here to make an offering, or votive offering, or at least I should say they've placed various objects around the top of the well, the capping stone or the wellhead. And let me just describe it. Some of the votive offerings are shells, clam shells. Some of them are very shiny stones. You know, if you went to, I mean, there's a shop in Wantage called Crystal Jack's, which sells sort of crystals and stones. Well, there's some very shiny, I don't know, purpley stones. Someone's left a necklace with starfish and one or two other things. Someone's left some coins. Actually, behind the well, it gets a little more interesting. Someone's left an apple. Now, the apple, to my mind, is something you would certainly with Samhain, you would use an apple, usually floating it down a river. If someone's in the past years has passed away, died, you would pop an apple somewhere as an offering. And there's certainly an apple there, and some cuddly toys, some dolls. I've got some Mr. Men characters. Looks like someone's left a lighter, someone's left a bag full of something, some other toys. West barks run together, do one thing. So it's as mentioned last week, people would in Wantage, they've got Wantage rocks, where people would get usually smooth stones, paint them, and do some sort of inscription or some decoration of the stone. So we've got one of their West barks run together, do one thing, and someone's put an embroidered piece of cloth. Has a sort of Indian motif, and someone's put a Carex moisturizer thing. Whether that's meant to be a deliberate offering, I don't know. But someone's actually put a metal box on the top. These Ladywell healing cards have been left for you under the new moon on the 6th of June 2024. The paper is imbued with healing properties from the sacred waters of Ladywell. Take one that finds you and keep it close. There are cards which govern areas of the body, or gold ones for whole self. These were made with hope in capital letters. Now, there are no cards, but people have left some coins, £2 coins. I think looks like a euro or something. Is it a euro? Hang on, let's have a look. Actually, maybe it's an Israeli coin. It looks, yeah, it's something from Israel. Something, crikey, America. But anyway, so someone's left some offerings in terms of money. There's no cards, which is a shame. Someone's left a key. Someone's left a key as an offering. Again, they're sort of a bit of a key and key with key ring on it. More toys. Some plant pots. Maybe someone's given the offer of a plant pot. But also on the fence, almost like the love locks, there's an adjacent fence to this. There's a fence to this well, and someone has left sort of I don't know, it looks like key rings or something, which they've attached to the fence. Some little bags, something. Someone's done a necklace, and someone's tied a piece of cloth that almost like they do with the rag trees. So hopefully the wind hasn't been too harsh on this recording, because I feel the breeze. But I'm just having a look actually in the well. Okay, so there is. I wasn't too sure what to expect with the well, whether there'll be any water in it, and there is, but I don't think it's a safety risk. It's only there is water. You probably hear the echo, and it's about, I don't know, 10-20 centimeters deep. Not in old money it'd be about, I don't know, half a foot or something. So I'm not too sure. It must be a spring rather than a well, because to my mind a well is always this deep shaft. So perhaps it's just I don't know, a weeping spring which is just filled up that area. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to come here and dip your toes in it or take a cupful, you know, you might want to boil it and stuff. It's there to do. But this is lovely. This is really nice, and it seems to have a meaning to someone. It looks like someone's chucked or thrown or deposited even a coin of some description in it. So that's really nice. And at the front, there's still some one or two items at the front of the well. I mean, maybe that's a jar, maybe it's had a candle in it once, but there's lots of stones. So someone has popped a flat stone. It looks like it's got a sun symbol on it, and pops that on the top of the wellhead carving. It says "ye." Actually, sometimes with the Y's, which you think are ye as in ye olde shoppy, that's a thorn symbol, so it's really the. So the ancient lady well, and I think people have carved into it themselves. I think they've got initials and things, PM, BR, GR. So obviously it's of meaning to someone. And what do we got? Well, restored 1902. So this is lovely. It really is lovely, and it's well worth a visit just to come and have a look at the well, the water. Oh, I'm going to dip my hand in the water. I'm going to have a bath in it. I'm just thinking, is there anything on me which needs healing at the moment? So there's an interpretation board, which I'm going to read. Okay, the Ladywell Speen by Michael Bailey. We've got a webpage, https in search of holy wells healing springs.files.wordpress. Okay, that's the Ladywell at Speen in Berkshire is one of the forgotten holy wells of Britain. As an should that be an? Should be as a, maybe it should be. As an historic place, it is probably as much older than Speen as Speen is than Newbury. Before the Romans built their fine straight arterial road from their city of Cirencester through Cricklade to Speen, and then to Silchester and Winchester, there was an older crossing of the River Lambourne to Speen, and then on over the River Kennet to Broadlaying. Speen's 13th century church of St Mary's the Virgin and its ancient Ladywell lay on this road between the two river crossings, perhaps suggesting that this was a local holy well before the coming of the Romans. Today, the road is not much more than a grassy ride or rough track leading down to the church from the Bath Road. A short distance down this track, there is a turning to the right to the Ladywell, which still overflows with water among the nettles and thistles near the small valley bottom. It was once protected by a fence, perhaps really a belated Victorian effort to enforce the decision of the Council of Aries in 452 AD, which forbade well worship. Oh, forbade well worship. Well, I never. Our own King Canute had another go at prohibiting well worship in the 10th century, but this was no more successful than his command to the waves of the sea to turn back. In the recent past, like so much of our oral history and such traces of old pagan religions as remain, belief in the powers of Ladywell have only been kept alive by grannies and their children. Local skilled children were in the habit of visiting it to throw a coin into its water to make a wish for success in some test or examination they were about to sit. Sweet papers in the mud confirm that this is still patronised by children. However, there is a tenuous local tradition that the waters of the well have miraculous property of being able to cure eye diseases and other ills. The last person to try and promote the healing properties of Ladywell was Dr. Parzianus Fisher, a travelling quack who came to Holy Thursday Fair for cattle and horses in Newbury. His efforts were not appreciated by the villagers of Speen, probably because of the company he kept and the fact that the profits were to go to the doctor. There is supposed to be a remarkable echo in the valley where the Ladywell is situated, but it could be more than an echo, because a 20th century resident resident of Speen has seen a ghostly figure standing beside the well. This article is taken with permission from Mr. Bailey's as yet unpublished book, Holy Healing and Ancient Wells in the Thames Valley. For notes on which, see source 2, page 7. So when I get back home, I'll go onto that website in search of holy wells and healing springs .files.wordpress.com /2018/07/speen.gif and see if I can find out some more. But this is absolutely a lovely thing to visit, and it certainly means a lot to many people by the amount of offerings which have been left at the well, and the amount of perhaps inscriptions, sort of roughly carved initials and the such like. So there's even I never noticed this, but apart from a hair clip, there seems to be these sort of figurines roughly carved to wood, almost like those dolly pegs you would get perhaps from travelling gypsies or something, but not a peg itself. It's just sort of carved wood, or almost like small skittles have been left. Maybe some sort of representation of a figure. Maybe it's almost akin to voodoo, but I don't know. Maybe. You hear that? A donkey. Yeah, it's a donkey just donkey in the field just below. Perhaps contradicting what I'm saying. That's something to say. But this is lovely. But no love locks yet. No love locks yet. But I don't know whether perhaps love locks aren't really. The only place you could hang them is the adjacent fence, and some people have attached items to the fence. So I mean, maybe this could be the start of a lovelock assemblage. Putting ideas into someone else's head, but I'm not too sure whether the fence belongs with the well, or whether the adjacent property up the hill. But anyway, I'm going to take some photographs now, which I'll put in the show notes, and I'll may put some directions or something to get to the well, if it's something you may want to visit. Anyway, this ends this segment.
You're listening to the Beehive Yourself Show, administering healing water to your ears, drop by drop.
Well, it did come to me when I've listened back to my recording at Speen that I didn't actually set the scene very well. You see, Speen is now kind of almost a suburb of Newbury in Berkshire. I mean, actually, back in the day, it was a village in its own right, perhaps a town in its own right, but it seems to be subsumed into Newbury. So also it's relatively easy to get to. You head for Speen and then head for the church and go down to the lane to the church and park up at the church, and then follow the footpath which goes in a westerly direction from the church, go across the graveyard and beyond, and you come to a bench and it's just down the hill from there. So that's great. If you, and naturally in the show notes I'm going to pop a map and some directions, so if you're interested in going to, and I think it's quite an amazing place, so please do pay it a visit. It's funny, some of these places that I've been to, I mean, Devil's Quoit, White Horse Hill, for instance, maybe even the Ridgeway, that they're relatively close to me. They're certainly within the old county of Berkshire. And am I going there as a tourist, or am I going there as a pilgrim? Maybe a bit of both. On the first, on the episode relating to White Horse Hill, one of my thoughts and sort of conversations were that people were going to White Horse Hill, and they were going there. They often didn't know why they were going there, but it was almost as if they were going on a spiritual journey. And the same could be said with regard to the Ladywell, insofar as it has a vibe, it has an energy, and certainly other people have gone there and made a deposit, made an offering, votive offering, which takes all sorts of forms, from shells to stones to cuddly toys to coins, to even hand sanitizer. Not too sure whether that one was intentional or not, but in a sense, the tourists, if you call them that, or even pilgrims, are kind of co-creators of this meaningful place. I kind of think that the well itself wouldn't have been, say, as enchanting if it hadn't have had all these deposits. I mean, some people had actually carved into the headstone. In fact, there was someone had deposited a flat, smooth stone with a sun image actually deposited into the headstone. So they're kind of co-creators of this space. They've augmented the space. You know, it was, Ladywell was obviously a special place. It has been a special place for thousands of years, but the tourists have made it, or the pilgrims have made it sort of extra special, with their deposits, with their co-creations. But it kind of brings me back to the point: what would actually kick this off? What would make a space, a space, a meaningful place? What is the catalyst? What is the grain of sand in the oyster which would start the oyster creating a pearl? And often it just takes one individual to do something meaningful, whether it's a love lock or something. I mean, it could be, when I think about some of these, you watch perhaps on the news, some tragedy has happened, and one individual has placed flowers at the site of where something tragic has happened, and it morphs into a sea of flowers and cuddly toys and all sorts of things. And maybe thereafter that space is memorialized by perhaps a monument, a plaque, or something thereafter, and it gives that place a meaning. In fact, there's a school of thought, well, maybe school of thought's the wrong word, but the whole psychogeography, where writers have sort of written about places, say in London, streets in London, each having a certain story to tell, and naturally the visitors or the people who are going on the walk, once they know the stories, perhaps see this ordinary street with different eyes, and it gives meaning to them, and it enriches their walking experience, or their understanding of the environment. So this is all about perhaps if we are co-creators, and I'm just thinking perhaps that some of our town centres are starting to deteriorate, shops are vacating places in the town centre, maintenance regimes are not being kept, and things are starting to deteriorate, and when someone actually does move into a shop, it seems always to be a business or trade of perhaps a lower status than the previous one, and sort of this downward spiral occurs. But what would it take for someone or the community to make a space meaningful again? What would they have to do, almost to make their town centre, or at least part of their town centre, almost worth a tourist to visit, or a pilgrim to visit? And that's kind of a very very difficult question to answer. But I hope you've enjoyed my little visits to the Ladywell in Speen. I would encourage you, perhaps if you're in the neighbourhood, to pay it a visit. Maybe take something to deposit there. Maybe a shell, a stone, maybe a coin. So I'm just going to wrap up now, but thank you ever so much for listening. As mentioned in earlier episodes, I'm writing a biography on the beekeeper, showman and writer William Woodley. Please consider subscribing to my Substack page. There is a free option, as this would help immensely to demonstrate to prospective publishers that there is an audience for my book. As always, you can contact me directly, podcast@beehiveyourself.co.uk. You can follow and support my work by visiting beehiveyourself.co.uk, or visit my Substack. My handle is @Beehive Yourself Show. This podcast is syndicated to other platforms, so you can listen to the Beehive Yourself Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, Pocket Casts, and on YouTube podcasts at the Beehive Yourself YouTube channel. Or place our RSS link in your podcatcher app. See show notes. The music is called Solitude by Entertainment for the Brain Dead, and this was created under a Creative Commons license. And this concludes this instalment of the Beehive Yourself Show. And until next time, stay well.